Shalom. We're in Bereshit, chapter 33. Genesis chapter 33 for those listening at home. In recent chapters, Yaakov has fled the camp of his father-in-law, Laban. He with Rachel, Leah, Bilhah, and their children, and everyone associated with them, all of their men servants and female servants, and their flocks, their herds, their cattle, all left. Laban pursued them, wanted to take everything back from Yaakov. Elohim intervened. And then Yaakov heard that Esau, his brother, was coming to meet him with 400 men. He sent gifts ahead of himself, in part to appease his brother, but I think also in part to impress his brother, to impress upon him what the blessing has been put on him, so that hopefully, I'm sure there's part of him that is hoping if he sees what Yehovah Elohim has done for me, perhaps he'll not harm me in any way, and there can be peace between us. Chapter 33 begins, it says, looking up, Yaakov saw Esau coming. Now remember, it has been 20 years that Yaakov lived in Laban's camp, and he has not seen Esau. And yet he saw him from a distance, and he recognized him immediately. He said, saw Esau coming accompanied by 400 men. So there are 401 men coming toward him, and he sees one man and knows who he is, and that speaks to the intimacy of their relationship as brothers. It talks about, or speaks of the power of that connection of being siblings. You know, we spent a lot of time talking about the falling out between Yaakov and Esau. We talked about Yaakov getting the birthright, and then getting the blessing, and then getting a second blessing, and Esau was angry. And we spent so much time talking about that, about the problems between these two brothers. Never have I really heard it taught what I believe is the lesson of this chapter, is that when the dust settled, they were still brothers. They still loved each other. They still loved their parents. Esau, by this time, has clearly learned that he is the reason we read earlier chapters. He realized the reason he had displeased his mother was by marrying the Canaanite woman, non-kinswoman, and he tried to correct that. And we don't know everything that happened. We really don't know anything that happened in the camp of Yitzhak in the 20 years that have passed. But we know that Esau recognized Yaakov, and Yaakov recognized Esau. And how can you not recognize your brother even after 20 years? He divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the two maids, putting the maids and their children first, and her children next, or Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph last. Okay? A lot has been made of that. A lot has been made of that, saying that he put the children and of the maidservants and the maidservants first, so that they would be most likely to be killed, so that if anything happened, the others could flee. Okay? I really don't think that's what's happening here. Okay? I really believe that he is still trying to impress upon his brother the magnitude of the blessings that he has received while he was away in Laban's camp, that he is trying to almost exaggerate the size of his family, okay, to make it look larger than it is. And so he has spread them out. And part of the reason I think that is because if you notice, people always try to make this and say, see, he loved Rachel and none of the others. He loved Judah and none of the others. And that is not true. He loved every one of them. And I think the proof of this, and it says, he himself went on ahead and bowed low to the ground 7 times until he was near his brother. If this was about him keeping Raquel and Yusuf alive and didn't care about all of the others, he would not have gone in front of all of the others to try to make peace. Esau ran to greet him. He embraced him, and falling on his neck, he kissed him, and they wept. Certainly not the welcome that he was expecting. And it makes you wonder, then why did he bring 400 men? And I think it was probably because he heard that Yaakov had become a small nation of his own, and he probably wondered, is my brother coming back to visit me, coming back to dwell with me, or is he coming back to take what was promised to him? Okay, and so I believe that he was also on the defensive. Neither one of them knew. They both loved their brother, and neither one of them knew if the brother loved him back, because 20 years had passed. Looking about, he saw the women and the children. Who, he asked, are these with you? He answered, the children with whom Elohim has favored your servant. You notice he doesn't say, oh, there's a bunch of kids I got, and you said. Okay, that was not his position. Then the maids and their children came forward and bowed low. Next, Leah and her children came forward and bowed low. And last, Yusuf and Rachel came forward and bowed low. If this was a story about Yaakov giving special favor to Rachel and Yusuf, they would not be bowing low in front of his brother. If this was a story about them being treated special or the others being treated less special, the others would be bowing before his brother, and he would say, and this is my favor. That doesn't happen here. And he asked, what do you mean by all this company which I have met? He answered, to gain my Lord's favor. Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Let what you have remain yours. In other words, Yaakov, while you were off getting blessed, getting ready to come back for the inheritance, I was being blessed with the inheritance. But Yaakov said, no, I pray you, if you would do me this favor, accept from me this gift. For to see your face is like seeing the face of Elohim. He said, I have longed for this. People read this and they say, oh, he's still trembling. He's trembling like he's standing in front of the Creator. No, he has longed for this. And he says, this is the blessing that I wanted, to see your face and to know that we love each other like brothers should. And you have received me favorably. Please accept my present which has been brought to you, for Elohim has favored me and I have plenty. And when he urged him, he accepted. And Esau said, let us start on our journey, and I will proceed at your pace. See, Esau is seeing, he said, I have 400 men. They're 400 strong fighting men. You got women and children and servants, and we'll proceed at your pace. We'll slow down for you. Let's go home together. But he said to him, my Lord knows that the children are frail, and that the flocks and herds which are nursing are a care to me. If they are driven hard a single day, all the flocks will die. Let my Lord go on ahead of his servant, while I travel slowly, and let the pace of the cattle before me and the pace of the children at the pace of the cattle before me and at the pace of the children, until I come to my Lord's here. Then Esau said, let me assign to you some of the men who are with me. But he said, oh no, my Lord is too kind to me. So Esau started back that day on his way to Seir. But Yaakov journeyed on to Succoth and built a house for himself and made stalls for his cattle. That is why the place is called Succoth. And that is the root word there of Sukkot. Okay, that is the root of the word for the booths, the Feast of Booths. And we talk in the Feast of Booths about remembering Yehovah dwelling with Adam in the garden, dwelling with Noah in the ark. We talk about Yeshua dwelling with us in a tent of flesh. And it occurred to me, I wonder why is it that we never look back at this story and remember the promise to the ones who would dwell in the tents, who would come back into the promised land, even as we are to come into the promised kingdom. I believe from now on, and Sukkot's almost upon us. It's just a couple months away. I believe going forward, I will probably always, at the celebration of Sukkot, stop and remember the return of Yisrael as Yisrael, not as just as Yaakov, but as Yisrael, with the patriarchs of 11 of the tribes coming into the promised land and inheriting what is ours. Yaakov arrived safe in the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, having come thus from Padan Aram, and he encamped before the city. The parcel of land where he pitched his tent he purchased from the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 kasitas. I tried to find that and what a kasita is, and the only thing I can find is that it's simply an unknown measurement of wealth. Okay, we don't even know, was it gold, was it silver, was it some sort of jewels? We just know that it's some unknown measurement of wealth. He set up an altar there and called it El Elohei Yisrael. I did some digging on that because it bothered me. The translation that I saw here read El, God of Yisrael. But I dug into it, and I believe what I found is that the first El is neither name nor title. Elohim is Elohim. Okay, it's a title of magnificence. El is a root, and I knew that it was a root that pointed to divinity and the power of the divine. And so I think literally it's the divine God of Israel, or the God of Israel is divine. Okay, so I hope that you had seen something new in this chapter. I know as I was reading through it, actually prepared for it for last week, and then I was traveling and we didn't have a service, and meant to record it and send it out and didn't. Over the past week, I feel like he has really opened my eyes to some things there that I think people read it with a Western Gentile mindset and miss the significance of what was really going on here. That there was this reunion of brothers, and you know what? The younger brother had the rights to the land. The younger brother was offered to dwell with the older brother and basically live off of him until he got stable in the land. And instead, he met him like a brother, loved him like a brother, and went off and did his own thing because he was his own man.